Florida Explorer here. We're at the hydroelectric plant, Tallulah Falls, Georgia. I'm sorry, we're not at the hydroelectric plant. We're at the site of one of the incline rail cars. Let me rephrase that. The incline rail car system, it was necessary to have that in place before they could do anything. So this was the first thing they did. 1911 to 1914, they constructed this system to get people up and down. And equipment. This is an original car, passenger car. This is which we're going to go see in a moment. This is another picture, a picture of that car.
It's dark.
And this was used to go down to and from the hydroelectric plant, which is actually down at the bottom. This is a picture of a 60-ton capacity freight car, which is unimaginable almost. 60 tons. It ran on a hoist system. It had a cable hooked to the front and a cable hooked to the back, and it would have been run out of these hoist houses. So these cars had no power on their own whatsoever. They were strictly dependent upon the hoist, the cable, and all that working properly. It was a 1,200 foot length, track length. The track, or the cars moved at a maximum 160 feet a minute, which, I mean, that sounds to me very fast to be going down this hill. But anyway, we're going to go look at the car right now. In fact, we're going to look at this way, because this is the better way to look at it. This is an example of the average angle, the average steepness. The steepest that it was 90 degrees at its steepest point, which is straight the heck down, and its lowest was 36, which was a little bit less than this. This is more like 45, but 36 is still, you're facing downwards. And as you can see underneath here, there was a hand braking system, but the cables would have hooked up, I guess, to here and here, and that would have been how they would have pulled them up and down. But this is impressive because this is original. This is original stuff. We're going to get a side view of this, and as you can see, as long as the cable didn't break, so the cable operator didn't fall asleep, this was a fairly comfortable ride up and down. You sat on these benches. You were horizontal. If you're like me, you were scared crapless because you're facing straight down almost. But for guys that don't care about that sort of thing, they probably were just fine, just quite comfortable. This is how they would have worked. They would have gotten down to work and gotten up out of there after their shift was done. Come down here, we get a face-on view of what those guys would have been facing. Now, keep in mind, this was in the age before safety concerns, or at least most safety concerns. Most owners, most managers had little to no concern over safety. This would have been in the time, roughly 20 years after the last of the Great Labor Movement. So it would have been, in terms of better conditions for workers, so it would have been, it wasn't an enlightened age for workers by any stretch of the imagination. So there were no safety belts, there weren't anything else. They were just sitting on these benches, going up and down. I want to come and get a close-up view of this. Did you lock up?
Yeah.
Close-up view of the metalwork. I mean, it's impressive. This is all original stuff. I don't even know that the wood isn't original. It could very well be original wood. It doesn't look milled by today's standards. It looks very, very rough, which would have been something they would have used back in that era. The milling was not as slick as today's milling is. So it quite possibly is wood from that era. But it's definitely metal from that era. They wouldn't have had concrete. They would have had standard railroad ties going across. But that's a good view of an excellent historical example of what it took to get this job done. So for now, we are out.